There we go. Okay. I think we're up and running. We're having some technical difficulties here. It's not uncommon for us because we're obviously out here in the middle of the desert and our internet connection is not always so good. So sorry about the buffering, but hopefully we'll be able to get through this with you guys and you guys can see us okay. And let us know if you're able to hear okay. That's kind of the goal right now. We want to make sure you guys can hear everything. And we're trying a little bit more latency, so it won't be quite as real time as what we've done in the past. All right. So who do we have with us?
So we have Juan, we have Mrs. Marvel, we have Plentiful Harvest, we have
Hey, very cool. All right, good.
Sounds good.
Glad to hear that. Oh, hey.
And we have Austin.
Hey, Austin. Is it Austin and Nikki or just Austin? Is Nikki awake yet?
Good day to the #1 couple on YouTube from sunny Whitman, Arizona.
Oh, yay.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
All right. Kylan, sounds good. Sounds okay. Mrs. Marvel, sounds fine.
Okay,
Zach,
good. Very good.
just got here. Everything seems fine.
Yeah, so basically it looks like...
Oh, it's Austin and Nikki.
Oh, hey, guys.
Hi, Nikki.
Hey, Nikki. Thanks for letting us borrow Austin. We needed his help this weekend. Well, this morning. All right, hopefully we're okay. You guys just have to... We had to do some changes to the YouTube settings, so we can't really watch the camera because there's a lot of latency. So sorry if we don't answer. We're going to do our best to stay on track here today. And I forgot to remind you for the questions that you answer them nice and loud, or ask them nice and loud.
Okay. Tried to. All right, got Aaron from Surprise. Charles.
Hey, Aaron.
Hi, guys. Here from Virginia. Good to see you.
Oh, cool. Howdy in Virginia. So what is that? 6 o'clock there now, I think?
I don't know.
In VA? Or maybe it's 5.
So we had a busy morning.
Oh, we did have a busy morning. We had a squealing, kicking morning for a little bit there. So, oh yeah, I can see the stream is going to be funky. But yeah, we did have a busy morning. So you guys know that we've been putting everything together to bring pigs back on the farm. And we finally were able to do that this morning. So we were able to use the normal breeder that we use all the time, which was nice. Mm-hmm. But you had to sweet talk them into selling us all the pigs that we needed.
We almost walked away with none.
Yeah, that was close.
All right, Joey said it's 6 o'clock.
Oh, cool.
Well, he's in North Carolina.
Yeah, East
6
Coast.
o'clock where he's at.
Hey, Joe.
Hi, Joey.
So yeah, so we got pigs back on the farm, so we're super excited about that, right?
Yep. How many did we end up with?
13 for now. we had somebody who bought a pig from us emailed us or texted us this morning, right? Actually, as we were on our way back home with the pigs, and we're trying to see if we can snag one more here last minute, but our regular breeder doesn't have any more, so we'll be on the search hopefully for one that's about the same size. But they're cool.
Yep. All right. Juan asks, what is the name of the pig pen reveal?
Yeah. So we're still going to let that go for a few more days. I think we're going to reveal that next weekend in the vlog. So probably next Sunday, we want to give everybody a few more days to vote. We've had a lot of people vote here towards the end of the week. So we want to make sure we give everybody their chance to be heard. There's 2 that are definitely running away with it. So one from each set of polls. So one from the first poll, one from the second poll.
Yeah, and they're really close. I think one is ahead by like four votes.
Yeah. Yep. So it's neck and neck.
Yep.
Yeah, truly neck and neck.
Okay, so we have what breed of pigs?
So we have several breeds, and most of them are crosses, but we have either a full blood or cross of Chester Whites, Poland Spots, Herefords, Hampshire, so Hampshires, and I'm sure I'm forgetting something. But those are mainly them, and a lot of them are crosses. So we got like some Hereford, Hamp crosses, and a few different crosses in there. I think we have one, I think even the Chester is a cross because it's got some spots. So it wouldn't be a full-blooded Chester. So they're not pure breeds, but they look really cool. It's like a bunch of different colors of pigs. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's really neat. Ranging anywhere from 40 pounds to 75 pounds.
Yep. Yep. Most of them are in that 50 to
60,
60-pound range, which is good. And we brought them onto the farm about a month earlier this time than we normally do. So we have some extra time, actually, if we wanted to keep them the entire time.
Yeah. All right, we have Heidi from just outside of Tucson, and then
Hey.
13. Wow.
Yeah, 13. We agree. We were kind of feeling the same way as we were getting. It usually works out that we usually wind up getting deposits kind of late, and we never really know for sure how many pigs we're going to need really until the last day. And in this case, it sounds like we may wind up with another one the day of, after, however you want to say it that way. So, and yeah, we were surprised as well. So we had, what did we have? 7 last year, and we're working towards possibly having 14 of them this year.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so a whole pile of pigs.
Whole pile of pigs is right.
What a tease. I think that's for the
sorry.
name.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we give everybody a chance to vote, and then Lori needs her stencils. That's like 90% of it.
I forgot to order the stencils. All right, so then we've got Crystal. Are chickens the best way to get rid of cockroaches in your mulch? If so, roughly how much would it cost to start with a few laying hens for a small family of 3?
So how many laying hens for a small family of 3?
Just how much would it cost to start with a few laying chickens?
So the biggest expense whenever you're raising chickens is going to be what you're keeping them in, especially up front. So when you're first starting out, you need to have a secure place for them. That's the most critical thing. We had a secure place that wound up having a spot that dogs got into. So that's your biggest expense up front. The chicks are not expensive. So you can get, typical chicks in the mail or from Tractor Supply, and you're going to spend $3 to $5 typically for a baby chick. And then you feed them, and you feed them, and you feed them. And you feed them and feed them and feed them. They don't start laying for 5 to 6 months. So, you're feeding them up front before you get that first egg. So everybody jokes around with how expensive that first egg is, and it's true. But obviously that infrastructure, if you build it well and it's permanent or mainly permanent, then you'll have that for years to come. So that's the biggest thing, is that upfront expense. As far as how much does it take to raise one, I'm estimating it's probably anywhere between $20 and $30 to get a chick to laying size, depending on the feed. Could be double that easily if you're using organic feed. Soy-free feed is more expensive, so there's a lot more expensive feeds out there. So that'll be a big factor in that. But as far as cost, I would estimate $30 to $60 for it to lay its first egg. And then chickens will lay, depending on the breed, so they'll lay anywhere from 150 on the low end up to 250 to 300 eggs in a year, depending on the breed that you get. So you get the potential for a lot of eggs, and obviously they pay for themselves over time. So, and if you guys have ever had a store-bought egg versus an egg that you're raising yourself, it's night and day. It's just not the same. So, the taste is completely different. The texture is different. The color is different. But, and then as far as number of hens, was that the last part of the question?
No, it wasn't necessarily
Just
number,
cost.
just the cost for a family of 3. But are chickens the best way to get rid of cockroaches in your mulch?
Oh, well,
They would do a good job at it, but they dig.
They would. So the biggest thing is getting them there onto the mulch. So you'd have to protect them while they're there doing their job. But oh yeah, especially full-grown chickens. Pullets, not so much, but full-grown chickens, once they figure out that bugs are tasty, they'll go to town on small cockroaches, and they'll kill the big ones and eventually chew through them too. So they're definitely bug fiends. They love bugs.
Actually, I noticed when I moved the water from the nuggets in the tractors, there was a couple of those little pincher, those
little
skinny
pincher bugs.
black pincher things. And even the nuggets at 3 weeks old attacked them, just gobbled them up.
Yeah, so as long as they're not too big, they'll usually go after them. Once those chickens are older, they go after everything.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Daryl, turkeys are getting big. Getting very big.
They really are. So, and the big part of that is that game bird feed. So, they are on a much higher protein for the first, 4 months. So they're still on the super, super high protein. So yeah, they grow fast. And they don't realize that they cause damage. I've got some scratches and scrapes. They dug in my arm pretty good a couple nights ago.
They think they're still small and can jump up on your shoulder.
Yeah, it's not the best place for them right now.
Yeah.
And they're half the size of what they will be. So.
All right, we have Darlene. Hi guys, how are you both doing?
Really good.
How are your meat birds doing? Ours are getting so big. How often do you feed them, and do they have food all day?
So yes, we feed them basically twice a day. So we will feed them first thing in the morning. Well, we move them first, and then we basically move them onto their feed, so it's easier to move them. So we'll feed them in the morning, and then usually by early afternoon, we'll fill the feeders again, and they're getting through that feed before we go back out in the morning.
Yeah.
They're not on. We took them off of the lights, so off of the heat lamps on Wednesday of this past week, so they have no light at night. So they're bedding down at night, and they basically run out of feed. So by the time we're there in the morning, they've gone without feed for a few hours, and then we load them back up again.
Yeah.
And they grow fast.
Yeah, and they're doing really good.
This is by far the best batch of broiler chickens that we've had, and this is our 10th batch. It's our 10th round. So this is our 10th round of broilers. This is by far the best. Yeah. So I mean, we just got Ideal Poultry does a great job. It's the right time of year. I mean, they're cranking out chicks left and right. The weather is perfect because it's nice and warm everywhere. So even when they're being shipped, so this is definitely our favorite time for bringing those broilers on. So.
All right, Eric, how are the melons doing?
So we have the melons in the old sunflower patch, and they're growing, but slowly. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to be getting melons this fall, would be my guess.
Yeah, they're growing, but.
Yeah, I think we missed the boat on that. Timing-wise was wrong. So we really should have planted those probably a month earlier, and they're getting too much shade to grow nice and strong. I think, you guys, if you live on the west side of town or you're familiar with Phoenix, usually watermelon is grown in the middle of summer. They harvested it about a month ago, so definitely not the right season. We were just...
We do that a lot these days.
Yeah, we were just wanting to see whether or not it would do anything for us. So they're growing. It's just super, super slow. Now the pumpkins are doing really good. So we haven't done an update on the pumpkins anytime recently.
Yeah, the one that survived from the first round of me planting them is doing really good. Yeah,
it's doing good, and actually even the later ones are still doing good. And then we have the beds, so the squash in the beds is coming up, and the beans. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of hit or miss. We had some bugs chewing on the first leaves. On all that, we didn't get any of the cucumbers. Well, they tried to come up, and then they were eaten.
Bugs are eating them.
Yeah. So probably a little too early on that, but we wanted to try it.
All right. If you could only plant one fig tree, what type would you plant?
Oh my goodness, that's almost not fair. It depends. My goodness gracious. So obviously we've only had a half a dozen or so figs, so I probably am not the best person to ask, honestly, as far as the flavor of figs. We really like the brown turkey for winemaking and cooking, just because of the abundance. They're nice big figs. They produce in the spring and in the fall heavily. In both of those, it grows very, very fast. The fig flavor is okay. It's a good figgy flavor. The figs are good size. They're nice and dark purple, and they make a fantastic wine. So if you want a lot of production, that or a mission, either one of those two are probably your best bet. The panache is hard to beat. The RSI white, which we're still trying to figure out what it is a fantastic honey peach. So there you go. I still can't. It's a honey
peach?
Peach. Fig. It's got kind of a honey flavor to it. So far, I think still the panache is my favorite. As far as flavor. It's got that strawberry jam.
Strawberry jam flavor.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's really, really good. The... I can't remember the name. There's another one that's similar to that, but yeah, it's a good one.
But there's a lot out there that we haven't tried yet either. So some of you guys might have more suggestions.
I imagine you do. Like our Violet de Bardot, I'm hoping for a lot of figs on that. I want to try that one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Any plan to plant more moringa trees in the spring?
We've had a lot of people ask that. So right now so obviously with Lori staying home. And from a timing standpoint, we've kind of flipped the switch a little bit as far as what our focus is. So our focus right now is to get the farm business on track. With one of the reasons we have so many pigs here, that's one of those income streams for the farm. So we're kind of focused more on that. We have a lot of trees in the ground, so we're coming back, having to fill in wood chips and things. So I don't think we're going to have moringa trees in the ground this season, so fall through spring. My guess is it'll probably be next fall or the following spring of 2024. Is that right? No, 2023. So yeah, Moringas, we have to get irrigation to it first. So we have to run irrigation before we plant those trees because we're not going to hand water those. We have plans for about a dozen, half a dozen to a dozen Moringas, specifically towards the back of the property. We have the irrigation line basically within a couple 100 feet, but I don't plan on doing irrigation this fall because we need to concentrate on the production on the farm.
All right, so Crystal asking about the laying hens earlier. Haha, my husband is mad that I asked about buying chickens to control the roach issues. He doesn't want them at all. Thanks for the info. We are grateful for you both. Lots of love from Desert Hills, Arizona.
Yeah. Hey guys. Yeah, I that's a tough one. I mean, chickens are great. Obviously, the biggest part of a laying hen would be the egg production from a layer. They're fun to watch. They really do a good job of get any bugs. I mean, they will go after bugs, but yeah, there's an upfront cost, and you still got to take care of them. So
and they're pretty, they can be pretty gross because they just poop everywhere.
They do poop everywhere. They will not spare anything from getting. I mean, in their water, you name it,
everywhere.
they're gonna poop there. So.
All right. So then David Button, damn, were the fig trees? I'm not sure what that means. Daryl, fall setting in already, lots of leaves falling.
So true. So we don't get that obviously. And Daryl's in Baton Rouge, right? Isn't that Daryl? Yeah. So Daryl, obviously you guys are in full blown fall. Here we have not dipped below 60 degrees, and it's only hitting mid 60s for about an hour or so in the morning, and it immediately heats back up to 90. So we've still got full fall flush happening on all the fruit trees, so they're pushing on new growth. They're nowhere near dropping those leaves yet, but I'm looking forward to that. It's always good to hear.
All right. And
You're pointing your finger up and down.
Yeah. David, pizza, please.
Pizza?
I'm not sure. Pizza sounds fantastic. I haven't had pizza in forever. All right, Darlene, this is our 5th set, and I agree. These seem to be the best. Maybe it's the weather.
It's definitely the weather,
Definitely
Darlene.
the weather.
No question about it. So we're not extremely hot. Getting them in September is that we've always brought chicks in September. Typically, it's always been our best batches. It's why the layers are coming in this week. Same thing. So it's just a good time of year to bring them in. I agree.
All right, and then we have Plentiful Harvest. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
And
Glad you made it home safe.
How many months do you keep the pigs, and how far ahead do you need to schedule with processor?
Those are fantastic questions. So we typically get them about 2 months old. These are between 40 and 70 pounds, so they're 2 months old-ish. We typically keep them for about 7 months, so we like to take them to about 9 months. That was a good number for us last time. We had weights hanging weights were between 170 on the low side. I think we pushed 225 on the high side for hanging weights. So that one was probably pushing 300 pounds. So 9 months is a good time frame for us. We already have our temporary order in at the processor, so we kind of gave them a heads up. We'll need to call them and update the numbers.
Yeah, so the processor that we use, they don't book that far in advance, so I'm on a waiting list that as soon as they open that up for next year, that they will call. So I should be doing that by the end of the year, scheduling for May, June of probably April or May of next year.
Right. So that would be our 9 month time frame. So bringing them in at the beginning of October.
Yeah.
And this is a very good time to bring pigs onto the property because it's still warm. It's not too hot, which they struggle with, and it's not cold yet, and we're not getting huge fluctuations in temperature. You guys watch the weather forecast. It's 80 to 90 degrees during the day, and it's 60 to 70 at night. That's pretty consistent and stable. They're most comfortable in the 55 to 70 degree range. So you're not below that at this point. So it's just a good time for them to get accustomed to where they're going to be. And we think timing wise, we got it down this time.
Yeah. All right, David, 258 tree.
Not
sure.
So David, you have 258? Now I need to know now.
Yeah. All right, Plentiful, do you think Macintosh apple trees would grow well in southern Arizona?
No. So I think that you can try. We have a couple of fall apple varieties that we're attempting. but it's just a test. I mean, we don't expect to get any fruit off of those. We're hopeful. We're keeping our fingers crossed. Now, Southern Arizona is a little cooler on the high side. They can be a little cooler on the low side. The challenge is it's still dry and hot in the middle of summer, which is the problem with your fall ripening apples, because the tree starts to die back a little bit. As soon as that happens, it's not even attempting to hold on to that fruit. And that's what we've seen on the trees. Plus the birds, you got all of those birds that come in for the summertime, and they just go to town on that fruit. Because the tree is growing so well in the summertime, you can't really net the tree either.
Yeah.
So it's just hard to protect that fruit. It'll probably set fruit for you. You'll get enough chill hours for a Macintosh. The challenge is going to be getting ripe fruit into the fall. That's what we're still trying to figure out as well.
Yeah. All right, Eric, what got you interested in living the farm lifestyle, and do you wish you got started sooner in life? Not saying you're old.
We're old. We're old. So what got us interested? It's a combination of things. We had Paragraphic. We're waiting for that to come out. So they came and they asked us a lot of those same questions, and we spent a lot of time on that. Actually, it's a whole slew of things that happened. If I had to list things out, health and wellness. We've been into that for since my dad had his heart attack in 2004. So really kind of heavily into it since then. I'm a cancer survivor, as some of you guys may know, 30 years, and so that sets your mind straight as far as, taking care of your body and trying to be healthy, keeping the bad stuff out. So, that's kind of always been a part of my life as an adult. I was 19 when that happened. So those happened. My grandpa lived 20 years longer than my dad. He had a 5-acre parcel in Southern Oregon that he moved to when he retired from McDonnell Douglas. So that was an influencing factor. I worked for a supplement company for several years, and so learning health and nutrition there. Watched one of the big wigs, so to speak, in supplements back in the 2010 range sell his business, buy a big farm. It's like, okay, you're selling supplements, you're doing well there, but you bought a farm instead. Now he's doing Whole Foods. So there's just so many things, and then the lifestyle. Yeah. The biggest thing was getting out of the city. Phoenix is fine, but it's a big city. We're from the city. She's from Phoenix, I'm from Los Angeles. So, a different lifestyle. An alternative lifestyle is definitely what farming is. But, Lori's definitely could probably answer that better than me now being on the farm full time. It's just, it's a different feeling.
It is.
Yeah. She is so less stressed out, which is great because
my anxiety has been gone. My stress has been gone.
It's evaporated.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And which is great because happy wife, happy life, fellas.
All right, we have David that asks, how come everyone that goes live is drunk?
That's great. Well, I'm definitely not. I'm working on that, but that won't be till after we're done. We don't get drunk.
We have 2 to 3 drinks.
Yeah, this is we turn our live stream into happy hour on Saturdays.
Yeah, we just started our drink when we started the live stream.
Yep. So
I don't know why other people do it. Maybe it's because you're sitting in front of a camera.
It might be stress, anxiety. Yeah. So I would imagine.
All right, and then we have, I really like my Olympian fig in Phoenix. That was David Bauman.
David, that's good to know because we have an Olympian that's has a heavy fruit set on it right now. And we had one that tried to get ripe, didn't quite make it.
Yeah, it's still really young, so.
But yeah, it's still really small. That's good to know.
All right, we have Daz. Good day,
Daz.
guys.
How's it going, Daz?
I miss you guys so much. I am so sorry for being a stranger desperately trying to catch up here.
No problems at all, man. I see you making that content. Lori and I drop in every once in a while, but we watch it on our TV, so we can't make comments. But no, we're watching them.
Yeah, we do try to stay up on your videos, too.
Yep.
Okay, then we have, do you secure your pallet racks to the walls or floor or both?
Okay, so I'm assuming you're talking about in the chicken coop and run. So that we only secured to the floor, so into the dirt. I can't remember the size of rebar that I used, but basically I drove rebar down into the ground at an angle to hold the base of that. I think it was either 3 or 4 foot rebar, and then bent it over on top of the pallets, and it's been fine. It's back behind. It's not really necessarily behind the trees, but just the bottom. At this point, because it almost goes to the very top of the run, it really wouldn't be able to tip over. It would hit the top. So I wasn't too concerned about that. If that wasn't the case, so that coop was much shorter and had the ability to tip, you might want to secure it to the fence, but we haven't had a problem with securing it to the ground. And you guys know here, obviously the ground is rock solid. So, if you can get that rebar driven down 3 feet or so, you're probably in caliche, and it's probably not going to come back up.
Yeah. All right,
Good question.
David. I would pull the tail off of a scorpion and throw it in with my chickens and watch them chase it around. We call it the pepper football.
Oh, absolutely.
Or peeper football.
Peeper football? Yeah, for sure. It's funny to watch those guys chase each other.
Yeah.
So the meat chickens do, all of the turkeys do it, they all do it. So,
yeah, one of them gets something and takes off running and everybody chases them.
Yeah, it could be a stick.
Yeah. The nuggets are doing that too.
The nuggets do it.
All right, got Slam Boy. What is the most tropical tree plant you have that thrives?
I'll tell you what, the one that I've been most impressed with was actually that Peruvian white guava. It did fantastic over the summer. We know we're going to struggle during the wintertime. I was like betting that would struggle during the summertime, and it didn't. So it's probably about 5 feet tall now or so. Bushed out really well. The pink guava is doing amazing. So both of those two guavas have been what's impressed me the most. And those are the closest thing we'll get to true tropicals.
Tropical, yeah.
And those are good down to about 30 to 40 degrees. So we'll have to keep an eye on them this winter. But they've done great.
Yep. All right, so Mrs. Marvel, you mean fall? So you must have said something.
Oh, I might have. Maybe I said spring.
Yep. LOL. Arizona is a lie for autumn. Oh, you must have said autumn and should have been fall.
Oh, maybe I did. I probably did.
Maybe.
I didn't have that much to drink. Maybe I should be drinking a little bit more before this. Might be something to that.
All right. Those mid-60s temps are delicious.
Oh, they are.
For as long as they happen, though.
It's true. It's so true.
Last long.
No, and this morning we were out. We're always out before the sun comes up, and I actually had a sweatshirt on for the first because it was breezy.
Yeah,
and
for
so,
like 30 minutes.
If that. That was right back off.
Yeah. All right, we have Daryl. How many trees total is your ultimate goal?
So I think we have the one line of 24 that's not. So there's 48. So 220, 230, just over 200. So I guess we really didn't put a quantity goal necessarily.
No.
So we did on the old farm, and we've surpassed that here. My guess is right around 200 to 250 would be my guess as far as what we want to run irrigation to, do the whole thing. Now we're to the point now, we've got a handful of trees we're going to be getting tomorrow from Reed. So we will be going to RSI Growers tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We'll be planting 3 trees that we need to backfill in a couple of the orchard, in the one orchard. We also have 3 trees we need to order online, maybe 4 when we want to do. So we're still going to wind up with about 175-ish before we expand the irrigation and go further. But between 200 and 250.
All right. When do you plan to do the chicken harvest? Do you want help?
Yeah. So we are going to be harvesting these chickens the weekend of Halloween. And we have a workshop that we actually have planned. We've got, in fact, we filled it, but we expanded the...
We couldn't say no to people.
Couldn't say
so
no.
we passed the number that we wanted to have as our cutoff.
Yeah, so we got double that now. So yeah, I think we're going to be good. I appreciate that. But I think we're going to be good. We've got, our son comes and helps us. We pay him in chicken, so that works out pretty good for us. But I think in the future, depending on how that business goes, we may take you up on that because those days when we're processing a lot of chickens, it helps to have extra hands.
Yeah.
So.
Friday.
Yeah. So just email us.
Email us. All right, Slam Boy, I need to pay attention. Can't tell pigs from figs.
Yeah, I should probably focus on that too.
Yeah.
So we've got both of those going right now.
Okay.
I like feeding the pigs figs. They like figs.
They do.
Yeah.
They like a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Darlene, you mentioned goats. Will you be processing them yourself or sending them out to the processors if you get them? What kind of goats are good for meat production? So
ideally, when you're looking at Boer, Boer goats, I believe it's Boer goats, are really kind of the ideal meat goat. I don't know that we're going to go that direction necessarily because the goats here are going to be mainly for milk production now that Lori's home. So we're torn. We don't know whether we're going to go with a dwarf type or a full-size goat. We have somebody here in Whitman, one of our neighbors, that is going to kind of show us the ropes here over the next couple months. So we're hoping once we get a handle on that and know kind of what it's all about, because it's new to us, then we'll decide whether we want a dwarf or a full size. If you're obviously for meat production, you want a full size goat. So I'm not 100% sure yet. So we're not too sure. Yeah. We don't know a lot about goats. This is going to be new for us.
Yeah. All right, Mrs. Marvel. That's the one thing I miss about living in most other states, a true fall season.
Yeah, it is tough because we go pretty much from summer to winter. So a little bit in between, but not too much.
Yeah. All right, we have Eric. Great job beating cancer.
Thank you.
Daryl, I saw Lori petting a pig for a split second in the paragraphic preview.
Oh, you caught that.
I saw that too. That was cool.
Yeah, we don't know when that's going to come out. So
I know.
they haven't told us. So
yeah.
It's funny because if you guys have seen that, they have amazing videos, by the way, especially if you're here in Arizona. I think anywhere, but especially if you're here in Arizona, as far as I understand it, all of their videos were filmed in Arizona.
Yeah.
So there's some incredible ones on there. And what's funny about that preview is we didn't know anything about it. And the thumbnail, at least what it was, the thumbnail is actually our trees.
From our,
yeah, so it's
our mulberry trees.
Yeah, it's the Shangri-La or the contorted and Shangri-La mulberry trees when they were tiny. So they're 3 times that big now.
Yeah. All right, we have some hellos.
Hey guys, who all do we have? A couple of them.
Pepe.
Several. Hey guys, we're trying to keep up with as you guys know, we're having some latency issues. So sorry about that, and we're trying to keep up.
Yeah. Slamboy, my laptop is on stove while I cook watching you.
Very cool.
All right, Mrs. I shudder at the thought of digging into caliche.
Yeah, It's not fun. So there's digging bars for that, by the way, that it's really the only way to get through it. So usually caliche is not too thick, but I won't guarantee it. You can have a few feet of it. But typically it's a few inches, and a digging bar is worth the investment if you're going to be planting a few trees. They're not super expensive. You can use them for other things. We use one that's got a tamping end and a kind of a chisel end, and they actually work pretty good.
Yeah. All right, and then the one about the pallets. So securing metal pallet racks in your barn garage, floor or walls.
Gotcha. So those,
no,
we haven't done it yet because we don't have a lot of weight up above those at this point. So I haven't been too concerned about that. We don't get earthquakes and things like that here, so it's not that big of a deal. If I'm going to secure them, which at some point we may have to, I would definitely be putting anchors in the ground. I would secure them to the ground. I wouldn't secure them to the building. The main frames on that, I'm sure, would be fine. And with our smaller racking, so the smaller H frame, we actually did secure that to the framing. So we have 2 foot by 6 foot lightweight racking that only holds, I think, up to 1,000 pounds or something. That we actually did secure to the frame. But our main H frames, so the 4 foot deep by, I think we have 12 foot tall H frame. So the heavy duty H frames, those are not secured to the ground. Right now we don't have a lot of weight on them. So.
All right, then we have Jordan. Hey, you too. Mrs. Marvel.
Hey, Jordan.
But congratulations on filling your slots.
Yeah, that was good.
Lisa, hi everyone from Las Vegas.
Hey, what's up, Vegas?
Juan says fainting goats.
Oh, I know. It would be kind of cool to have fainting goats.
Yeah.
Just because I would not be able to help myself. I'd be out there making them faint constantly.
Yeah. So funny. All right, got Alan late again. Hi, gang.
You're here. What's up, Alan? How is it on the East Coast? The Southeast Coast?
Paragraphic is an excellent channel.
It really is. Yeah, they do a great job. So.
All right. Does anyone in AZ want a kitten? We have some, and all the shelters say they are full.
Oh my goodness. Is that Kylan?
Yeah.
Kylan, what's up, dude? So yeah,
I don't know.
That's a tough one. I'd say let them loose here, but I don't know that they would last.
I would like to have like barn cats because of
But we've got
bugs and rodents.
We've got resident coyotes that are around. They literally live in the wood chip pile. You can see the dens in the wood chip pile.
Yeah.
So. And we saw a skunk the other day. That I wasn't ready for that.
All right, we have Daz. Yes, I watch you on TV too, so I know all about not being able to comment.
Yeah.
The place looks amazing, and Lori is so different on camera now, more confident, and looks like she is loving it being at home.
Right. Exactly. What we've all been saying this entire time. I agree.
I am loving being at home.
But that's what he's saying is you can literally see it like in your demeanor. It's so obvious, and you were great in front of the camera. I mean, you really are. It's totally different. So
thank you, Daz. All right. So Kylan, his email is his full name at Yahoo. So if anybody wants a kitten.
Very good.
And then we have Alan, a bit cooler here in Central Florida, finally.
It's about time. I know we've been saying the same. You know how it is. It's the same for you guys in Florida. You look forward to getting out of the heat of summer.
All right, we have Danny from Plentiful Harvest.
Hey, Danny.
He said, hey, great questions and answers today. You're the best. Can we do sheep in Southern Arizona?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and in Southern Arizona, depending on where you guys wind up, if it's cooler, you could probably even do. We're going to be leaning towards hair sheep. But you can do just regular sheep that have to be sheared and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, especially hair sheep. So we have a neighbor about quarter to a half a mile north of us that has sheep. He has them running year round and no issue. They're hair sheep. So I don't remember what kind, but we'll be talking to him because that's actually who we'll be getting our sheep from once we get sheep on the property. Yeah. Somebody asked about processing, by the way. I didn't answer that question. I just realized. So processing when it comes to goats, we do anticipate using sheep for that purpose. So if we're going to be using them as far as what we do with pigs, we would have to use a state processor for those. For ourselves, it'll be us. So for our own consumption.
Yeah, and even when we get to the cooney pigs that we might do for ourselves, we'll process those as well.
Have we talked about the cooney pigs before? No. I don't think so.
Sorry. Threw that out there.
That little brown pig this morning had you going like it was a cooney.
Oh my goodness, you guys, one of the small pigs we got today is this little brown and white. It's so cute.
It's a Hereford cross, and it is definitely adorable. It's dangerous, honestly.
So cute.
Yeah, that turns into a 600-pound monstrosity.
Alan, striped or spotted skunk?
It was 5 a.m. I was heading out to work. I couldn't see it all that well. I could just see the black and white, and I know it wasn't a raccoon just because of how it was doing its tail, because it was wanting to spray me as I was driving by. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I saw the black and white. I saw the tail up, and it did not put its tail down. It was kind of hanging out by the side of the road. So that's the only reason I even knew it was a skunk, because it was a little further ahead of me. But I'm not sure. I didn't know there was a difference. It's the first time I've seen a skunk in the desert. I've always seen them in the mountains.
I have no idea.
I was shocked. And our neighbor came over the next day or 2 days later and was just talking to somebody about the fact that we don't have skunks. And I'm like, well, sorry to tell you.
We had one.
There's one 200 feet from your house.
And she said she saw one dead on the side of the road closer into town.
That's true.
And she was thinking it wasn't one, but obviously it was.
Yeah, they're here.
All right, Lisa, I'm new to your channel. Hey,
Lisa.
There an area in Arizona better to move to for water farming? I just want about 2 acres.
That is a really difficult question. So if you're talking about water, technically your best bet for water is on irrigated land. So now there's questions as far as how consistent that will be here in the near future, but actually in town where you have irrigated property is the most consistent water for farming. So ideally it would be there. Now, we had a video that came out today. We were talking a little bit about water. So the biggest thing is going to be the consistency of the aquifer. So, weather further north is more ideal for farming, generally speaking, if you're talking about large crops and whatnot. But the challenge with anywhere in Arizona, once irrigated plots, is, to my understanding, the majority of us are going to be on some type of, and I forget what they're called, but you have limitations. There's regulations on how much you can draw and how much ground you can keep basically in irrigation. So for us, for example, it's 2 acres. So if we wanted to flood 2 acres, we could, but we won't do that, as you guys know. So we're limited, and that's most places in Arizona outside of the cities. The challenge is going to be getting down to water in some of the nicer areas weather-wise up north. So, but it also depends on what you want to do. If you're wanting to do fruit trees, honestly, being down here is better because you have all of the options that you might have in the north, minus a few. We're not growing cherries or fall apples, but you also lose a few things that you can't grow up there. You can't do tropicals up there really at all unless you're in a greenhouse where you're going to heat it. So it depends on what you're wanting to do when you say farming. If it's homesteading, raising your own animals, having a garden, having a few fruit trees out further up north, the weather, without question, is better. Also, if you head further south, so if you head down towards Tucson and further south of there, you're dealing with 5 to 6 degrees cooler than it is here. So, it's nicer there. And so it really kind of depends. The biggest thing is what you're wanting to do when you say farming.
All right, we have Juan, maybe keep 1 or 2 turkeys. Sad when they parked.
Yeah, we're going to keep turkeys. So we knew going in, we expected more losses, by the way. We had never raised turkeys, and we'd already heard it was hard to get the poults out of the brooder. We only lost 1. So we wound up with a few more than we thought. So we're going to keep at least 5, maybe 6. We got some really good toms so far. So we're going to definitely be keeping some turkeys to have on the farm full time, use them for breeding and things like that. So yeah, we definitely are. Turkeys are great, man.
All right, then we have retirement from nursing.
Oh, very cool.
Will be your best decision of your career. Congratulations, long life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Hummingbird, hi from Cookie in Havasu.
Hey, Cookie.
Alan, skunks are cool, generally less destructive if you leave them alone.
Yeah.
Insectivores if you leave them alone.
Yeah, I've heard the same. So I'm not too concerned about that. We've got all the chickens locked down, so I'm not worried about that either. I'd be more worried about a possum tearing through that. So, and I know we've got those too. I haven't seen one yet, but I'm sure they're here. We had a nice size javelina on the patio.
Yeah, right about outside of our sliding glass door.
We were 10 feet from it. It was just like, whatever, I'm good. Just gonna check out what you got up here.
Slam Boy, when I drove a truck, I hit a skunk in Illinois in winter. Came through the heater.
Oh, man, that's horrible. I haven't gotten sprayed by a skunk, but I've driven by some ones on the road. That sucks. That's horrible.
That's bad. All right, Lisa, thanks. Daz, my Santa Rosa plum has been taken over by aphids.
Really?
Spraying them off with water, but a losing battle. Spring here and some fruit set, so I can't use sprays. Yeah,
that's a tough one. So you obviously have a fair amount of moisture. The only other thing, if you're seeing those on your fruit trees, it could be ants. So, you have, I don't know if you have tree tanglefoot down there. We do here in the States. So if you're able to get a hold of something like that or similar, it might be worth checking that because ants will basically farm aphids. So you might have an ant problem, which is causing the aphid problem. So that might be an easy solve for you if that's what's causing it. So see if you have a lot of ants going up into that tree. So.
All right. And Daryl, I am retired registered nurse.
Very cool. I did not know that.
Very cool. I didn't know that either. That's cool.
Lori's enjoying her retirement / full-time farming as well. I don't know how we would have gotten through the last few weeks without you home.
Oh my goodness. I don't know either.
I don't know that we would. I mean,
no,
because I can only do,
stressed.
It would be a mess. I mean, I can only do things, in between things here. I mean, I don't know that we could. Yeah. We would have disappeared just to try to get everything together, with the workshop and with the pigs coming on. So
it worked out.
No question. Well. Yeah, no question. It was good timing.
All right, Kylan. So what types of wine do you have behind you? I watched your videos of the apple wine you made. My wife wants to make some now.
And you should. Well, I'm just going to squeeze back. I'll read them off as best I can. So we have fig wine that we finished. We have 3 batches of fig wine I think we've done, and this one was April of this year. We have Manuka, which is a type of grape. We have Thompson, another type of grape. All of those were April. We bottled those in April. We've got flame wine that we did in September of last year. We just popped open. It was actually pretty darn good.
Pretty good.
That's another great. We have pomegranate wine that was September. We have blackberry wine that I think was also September of last year. We have another fig wine that was February of last year that we've been into. It's been pretty good. And then we have peach wine. And then we have out there a fig sherry. We have a cran apple sherry.
Apple wine.
We have the apple wine out there that's not back here. It's in our main rack. Is that it?
Yeah, we have a lot. All right. So
wine's just fun.
Hummingbird Heights Farm question. Have several fruit trees in pots from spring. Should I do a summer prune before planting this fall?
No, you shouldn't need to. So I'm assuming they're still green. So assuming they still have leaves on them. We're planting trees tomorrow. So we're going to film that for you guys so you can see these 3 trees we're getting from Reed. And now is a perfect time to plant your trees, by the way. The only exception to that would be tropical trees. You do not want to put tropical trees in the ground right now. That's a bad idea if you have the chance of frost, because they will not have time to establish a good root structure before they get into the most dangerous times of their lives, which is 2 months from now. So assuming that's not the case, right now is a fantastic time to do it. I would plant them fully leafed out. Don't cut any of the leaves. The reason why, we have a good, strong growing season right now. You want to have those leaves producing as much energy for those roots to establish as possible. So the more leaves and branching you have going into the ground, generally speaking, the better, because they are potted trees. So no, I would not prune them now. Keep them, we've shown you guys how to plant them, so plant them like that and give them a little bit of fertilizer if you want to do that. Definitely keep the leaves on there, then come back and prune this winter.
All right, Plentiful, would ladybugs work on the aphids?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So they definitely would. So you could definitely bring ladybugs in if they're not already there. Yeah.
Mrs. Marvel, it's just a different kind of work, and working for yourself is obviously a different ball game. I'm glad to see Lori less stressed.
We are
Thank you.
all happy to see Lori less stressed. I'm not sure. I may be happier that you're less stressed than you are. Now, that may not be the case, but it seems like it. I can't stress her out. I used to stress you out on a regular basis, and now I can't do it. I'm not going to say I've tried, but you know me.
Now it's just every day he tells me I'm jealous.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
All right, Plentiful. Also, there are parasitic wraps.
Wasps. Yep, parasitic wasps.
They sell for aphids. How do you feel about those?
I'd say go for it. I mean, the biggest thing is keeping them on the property. It's just like your ladybugs. So if you give them enough to eat, obviously they're going to be eating aphids, and they're comfy, then it's good. But as far as wasps, absolutely as well. So I know Daz, he's down in Australia, so I don't know what they have there as far as those predator insects. I'm assuming it's the same. So those are great suggestions.
Yeah, and he had responded to Plentiful as far as the ladybugs. He does have ladybugs on him.
Very good. Very good.
Let's see, Mrs. Marvel, hold the phone. Peach wine.
Yep. I know, right? And I'll tell you what, the peach wine was interesting because we weren't all that impressed when we went to bottle it. And you have to add quite a bit of back sweetening, we're finding, with the fruit wines in order to get that same flavor back out of it. Even the fig wines, we've increased the amount of back sweetening we've done to get that fig kind of essence and flavor back. It's not really there if it's completely dry. So we've started back sweetening more. The peach wine, we were back sweetening, couldn't get peach out of it. Back sweetening, still couldn't get the peach flavor, so we put some peach schnapps in there. Not a lot, but we did.
Just a little to get a little bit of a peach flavor.
Yep, just a little. And actually, now that it's been in there for a year, we've since opened it, and it's fantastic. It's really good.
It's really good.
So I don't think we needed to do the peach schnapps because we didn't put very much. And now that it's kind of settled, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
And then Juan, a lot of great wines. Can't believe you guys have so many. I would have finished half of it. Well, and the thing is that we do, after we bottle it, we let it sit for a year in the bottles before we actually even open them.
Right. Yep. So yeah, for the most part, I think the fig sherry is 3 years old now, going on 3 years, and fig sherry you need 5 years basically. So, but it's pretty strong.
We do. We try to have these wines. We open up a bottle. We have an open bottle all the time, but we try to just have a little bit with dinner in the evening, so that we're not plowing through it all.
Yeah. No. Somebody asked earlier about everybody being drunk on live streams. We're very far from drunk, but it is funny. It would be interesting. But we have, in a typical wine glass with dinner, we'll have that much wine. So it's very little. It's more than anything, it's to pair it with the meal that we're having, I would say, more than anything. Yeah. I guess I'm coming home from work. You're not anymore. So just that little bit of taper there, and then digestion. So you have that acid, very, very acidic. So you have that acid going into your stomach. That's going to aid in digestion. That's a real thing. The only problem would be if you're drinking large quantities, you do not want to water down the acid in your stomach. That's not good for digestion. So a little bit of wine goes a long way to aid digestion, especially if you're taking in dense proteins. We typically do with our dinners. So if you're doing, I'm not a doctor. Don't look at me that way. So, but if you're eating meats, dense meats, a little bit of acid is actually gonna aid digestion. So a little bit. Too much alcohol, you have the opposite problem where, anyways.
All right, Kylan said, keep ladybugs in your fridge for a day.
Oh.
And then, I didn't know that.
I did not know that. We've got ladybugs out there now, so.
Wait till the sun goes down, then let them out where you want them. They are much calmer and more likely to stay. Sorry, that was 2 comments. That's
very cool. Did not know that
together,
either.
so that's all good. I didn't know that either. Mrs. Marble, whatever works.
I know. That's kind of how we felt about it. We're like,
put a little bit in there, give it some flavor.
Dash of this, dash of that.
Yep. Dad's planting in 3 seedless grapes today.
Ooh, yes.
Makes me think of you guys.
Aww.
I remember when you first put in yours, and look at them now.
I know, right?
It's
so
crazy.
Yeah, they'll do good for you down there as well. Similar climate, you should be just fine. So I'm curious as to what varieties you had. You said seedless, so you're going to let us know what varieties you got down there.
All right, so hello, nice to see
Raina.
you both. Sorry I'm late. Can I prune my mulberry the first year it is in the ground, or should I do that when it goes dormant or in the spring?
We always prune basically all of our trees at this point in the, you don't have to, but generally speaking, you're going to want to prune your trees that first winter. So if they've been in the ground all season, you've gotten some good solid growth, it is a good idea to prune. You can prune for size at this point it was mulberries, right? So that first year is size and shape. So, if you didn't cut it off at the knee when you first planted it, you can still come back and do that. We like to have an open center on our mulberry trees usually, not always. So we usually try to do that for production, easier to get into the middle of the tree to get those fruits in the middle. And we did that with our mulberry trees last year, at least with our production trees like the Shangri-La mulberry. So they do well with pruning. And mulberry trees react to pruning really, really well. So do fig trees. So when you prune, they start branching nice and heavy, and you want that because your fruit comes on branching that occurs from wood that is at least a year old. So anywhere where you can make a cut and you have a split or 2 different branches or multiple branches coming out, you're gonna have more fruit production because of that.
All right, Slam Boy, have wine tested for alcohol content?
So no, not tested. So the only thing we do is we estimate it based off specific gravity. And specific gravity is a pretty decent indicator. We generally don't water it down. When we do wine batches, we make enough so that we have a top-off jug, basically. So whenever we re-rack a wine and you start to lose some of that wine, we're actually filling it with the same wine. So we don't generally have an issue with watering it down. And again, it's an estimate. But no, we haven't actually tested it. But our wines are pretty strong. I mean, they're all, we shoot, specific gravity wise, we shoot for, I think it's like 1.2 2 or 4, I don't remember the numbers exactly, but it's basically 16% alcohol or so, estimated alcohol by volume, and we usually hit that. It fully attenuates, especially because we do them here during the summertime. So, they fully attenuate. So we're assuming that we're in that mid-teen range, which is plenty strong. So it helps when you're not drinking very much. So it lasts longer. We like that.
All right, so we have MH. Hey guys, have you ever made a tuna wine? It's a cactus fruit.
Haven't. Thought about it because it's a beautiful magenta color. And obviously that color, you've got some antioxidant properties in that color. I'd like to. We just haven't. So haven't done it.
No.
Now, Ron did. So he's made that before.
And has he?
Yeah, guy that I used to work with. And he's since retired, but he was kind of my wine guru when we were first getting into it. But not yet. Yeah.
It was. All right, we have Steven. Hey guys, Steven from Gardena.
What?
I bought a loquat in July.
Steven, what's up, man? I was actually talking to Steven a couple weeks ago about being in Gardena and talking about loquats. Sorry.
Yep.
What rest of the question?
How do I determine the age of a tree? So he bought a loquat in July. Wants to know how he determines the age of a tree.
Okay, so obviously we've talked about this before. So, and hello, I'll tell you what, I always love talking to people from Gardena because there's not a whole lot of us.
Yeah.
But you are in the prime spot for loquats. It's going to grow very, very rapidly. So I would say you could probably guess based off of the size. So I'm assuming, obviously it was potted when you planted it. So my guess is it's probably about 2 years old, give or take. It's rare that you see them older than that unless it's a very, very big pot. Now the nursery might have brought those in from Florida. That's possible, although they didn't need to, but it's possible. So if they do that, they might have just been grafted earlier this year. So it could be that it's only a year old. But my guess is, if it's below 4 feet tall, 5 feet tall, you're probably dealing with a tree that's about 2 years old, at the most 3. So.
What about like the trunk size?
Trunk size. So our trunk sizes right now, these are all about 2 years old now, I'm guessing. And the trunk size on our biggest ones is probably about 1 inch.
Yeah.
So as far as diameter. So, and these are 2 to 3 year old trees at this point.
All right, we have Daz. He has 2 flame and 1 crimson, all red grapes.
Oh, very
red
good.
Seedless.
Very good. Yeah, that's going to be great. Ooh, they're going to be great. Sound like grape.
Then he said that they test the alcohol content by glass and headache in the morning.
Oh, yeah. We don't go that far. But yeah, I imagine that's probably true. I don't know. What's the most amount of wine you've had? Maybe half a glass? Maybe. If
might
that.
have had 2 half glasses.
So 1 glass.
Full glass.
But yeah, but that might have been the other one you were buying. And that was more like
Maybe.
10% alcohol. It's not the same as ours.
That's true.
Yeah.
Ours
are-
ours is.
It'll step up and bite you.
Yeah.
If you're not
quick.
careful.
Mm-hmm. All right. I think we are caught up, and it is 4 o'clock.
Wow, that's really good. That went fast. Oh my goodness, you guys.
It flew by.
And actually, I can tell we've been buffering and stuff, so I'm glad you guys hung in there with us. Sorry about all that. It's part of the perks of being out here on the edge of nowhere is the internet service isn't that good. We need to get that, whatever that one is by Tesla. Because Chris has got it.
Is that the one? Yeah.
Can't remember what it's called offhand, but Starlink or...
Yeah. All right. We have Jeff off
Skynet.
topic, but have you guys attempted to do any type of root cellar for winter storage?
No, we've had people ask that too. So I would imagine it would be a matter of incorporating it into the house. So, and it's very uncommon to have a basement here, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, one of the challenges we have here is summertime, house, 80 degrees, not good for wine. So our blackberry wine, for example, it lost a lot of its color because sunshine coming in. So we probably should. I think if we were going to get really, really serious, which we're not at this point, we probably would have to invest in refrigeration, which we haven't done, and a separate room or something actually blocking it off. That would be ideal, but no, I don't think we will. I don't think we will. It's a good question. I think it'd be kind of nice to have a root cellar anyway, just for storage of things, especially over winter, like squashes. So your sweet potatoes, all of your different types of winter squashes would be great. And then having wine down there would be great because we'd at least get it out of the sun. So,
Yeah.
But I would imagine it would still be warm, even in a root cellar during the summertime. So unless it was
Maybe
pretty
here.
deep. Yeah, it'd have to be pretty deep.
All right, Jazz says Starlink is that internet. That
Starlink,
Chris
there
has.
we
Yeah.
go. I'm thinking Skynet. That's coming later. That's when the Terminators show up.
We have Faith. I moved here to Arizona from Kentucky. I'm still trying to figure out the difference in gardening out here. My first garden was a hot mess.
Yeah, we understand. And, honestly, the reality is we still run into snags. Gardening is always a challenge because every year it's a different pest. It's not consistent. So we have two distinct growing seasons. We have a fall season and a spring season. They butt right up against each other. And there's a handful of things that'll get through summer. So, your typical winter crops, we will start planting here over the next couple of weeks. Usually it's end of October, beginning of November. Now you can harvest those in through March. Now you already had to plant your spring beds at that point. So that's where the challenge really happens. We plant a lot later than you would it was Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
So we plant a lot later than you would in Kentucky for fall, and it pushes right into your spring. So you really kind of need to have separate beds designated for fall and spring. You're gonna have a very hard time rotating from one to the next because you won't have that basically winter time where you're only getting your root crops. That doesn't happen to us here. So you really kind of have to have beds designated for one or the other. And then, there's only a handful of things that'll go from spring in through summer. Very, very few, like your sweet potatoes. There's just a handful. A few melons, tomatoes, depending on certain circumstances. But you may also find that it's going to be worth investing in shade cloth if you want to try to extend the season into summer. So if you want to try to use a single bed, you may need to do your fall crops, plant those, actually harvest them early, use a greenhouse to get your started, get them into the ground, say beginning of March. Depending on where you're out in town, you might be able to do middle of February, and then run that season into June if you have some shade cloth. And then once you get into July and August, unless it's sweet potatoes, cowpeas, a couple other things, there's really not much going on in the summertime. So that's when we cover everything for the most part.
Yeah. All right. Kalichi makes basements pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Can't believe the year is almost over again.
Oh, I know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
This year flew by.
Daryl, great show. Goodbye, everyone.
See you, Daryl.
Kylan,
Thanks for being here consistently. It's awesome seeing you.
Thanks for the chat. This was my first one with you guys. God bless.
Thank you.
David, 6 feet underground in Phoenix is still 80 degrees.
Yeah, that's what I'd be worried about. It would still be pretty warm.
All right, Plentiful. Thanks for the fun live chat. Prayers and blessings to you guys, Dwayne and Lori. Thanks for all you do and all you share. And blessings to all the live chat gang here too. Good night.
It's cool. Bye, guys. It was good to see you last week in person. That was neat. We don't get that all the time.
And then someone's making a comment to Faith about possible workshops. And then Jeff moving to the Shanto area. So not as hot, but hopefully can get a decent garden established.
Yeah. Pretty much anywhere in Arizona, sunshine is abundant everywhere.
Yeah.
So very good. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and shut it down. So really appreciate you guys being here. We talk about it all the time, but the fact that you guys spend precious time with us means so much. And we really enjoy being able to interact with you guys here live and answering questions. Sorry about all the issues we have as far as the internet connections, but part of the deal. But you guys do a great job of giving us information. I always learn something when we're doing these.
Yeah.
Always. So I really appreciate that. If you guys have not seen today's video, one of the things that we're talking about is land in Arizona. I know we got a lot of homesteaders out there. So we really encourage you guys, even if you don't watch the whole thing, it's fine, but go down and comment, because I think we're going to get we have a lot of folks asking us questions about moving to Arizona and buying land in Arizona. And I think it would be a great resource for people, especially all of your comments. I even say in there to look at the comments, because I only know so much about Arizona because we live here and know a little bit about the other areas, but you guys know it better than we do. So definitely go down and comment, because we want to make sure that's a great resource for people wanting to buy land here in Arizona. If you guys have we've been burned buying land here, and I don't want to see that happening to somebody else. So, yeah. All right, guys, we're going to hit the road. We have any last?
We have, thanks Dwayne and Lori, so kind of you to share your experiences with us. Wishing you guys all the best.
Thank you.
That is someone responding to them.
Very cool.
Lots of good info. Thanks Dwayne and Lori. Great show. Have a good week, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks,
it was
guys.
so cool to have you guys here. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
And then I'm gonna go over